G'day guys, welcome back to Game Inspector. So today we got this game that I just heard about called Mistfall Hunter. Don't really know too much about it, but we'll have a look at the trailer and then go back through it and inspect it and see what's going on and see how realistic this trailer will be for release. We'll give it the old hype score and reality check. So let's have a look, hey? Okay, that's pretty cool. Oh, the game of the year? Nah. Looks pretty badass. Bellering Games.
With the Mistfall.
Okay.
We lost everything. Stripped of our armor.
Stripped of our armor? Yep, I can tell that.
We were
yep.
exiled into endless night.
Kind of reminds me of Elden Ring a bit. Ooh, yeah, that looks like Elden Ring. Crazy shit.
Told. The nightmare, never ending.
Looks pretty cool. I love the narrator voice. It just kind of sounds like modern American, but otherwise looks pretty cool. Dodge and shit. Huh. That's pretty sweet archery. Invis.
But how could
magic.
we rest in death's silence when evil calls so
Whatever that monster is pretty cool. I love to kill it. Pretty cool environments.
Face, whatever price we must pay.
Okay.
We must make our stand.
Yeah, got some combat there. Yeah, pretty normal animations. That's a cool shot. Ooh. Oh, we got a boss. Big boy boss. Okay. What is there multiplayer in this? Is that what it's saying? Looks like there's other players playing with you. Oh.
This withered blade defied
The old shadow step. Oh, he got pumped.
the light that pierces the endless night.
Nice little mask. Sweet dodging. I like the archery of bow and arrow. It looks sweet. That looks sick. Alright. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Yeah, alright. That was pretty interesting. It does remind me a bit of that Dark Souls or Elden Ring kind of vibe. Yeah, it kind of... Like, I loved Elden Ring. This one kind of feels like a bit of a double A Elden Ring style, so which is cool. Everyone's kind of played Elden Ring, so if you're just looking for more of that stuff, this looks like something similar. Let's bring open the investigation board. So that was... It wasn't like too crazy. It was fairly realistic, setting a realistic expectation there. So I would say it's pretty cool. Like, I would say that's, it's cooking up some good hype there. I don't think it's the most amazing trailer, most hype trailer, but it's not too bad either. It's kind of just, it's got some cool stuff. So we'll just give it a 3 on the hype score. But let's go over it with a fine-tooth comb and check out, if this is like realistic. I think I saw a few shots in there that did not look like actual gameplay, like look like pre-rendered stuff. So let's have a look. Actually, yeah, just looking here right now. It says footage captured on PC. Not all images appear in game. So I think there's a few scenes or shots there which aren't gameplay, or they aren't even in engine. Maybe they might be in engine, but they're not going to be in the game. They're pre-rendered or like overdone with detail to make it look cool and stuff and like set the scene. But that can be expected in some trailers. So let's have a look at the beginning here. Yeah, this is pretty normal. I wonder, like, this looks like what you would see in the game. Looks like it's got a bit of post-processing, maybe a slight chromatic aberration going around on the edges, kind of. I love these themes though, like, faces in the trees and stuff. That's always cool. If it actually talks, that would be amazing. But It remains to be seen. Just gotta stop it on this one for a sec. Not for the reason you guys think. But let's just go. Right there. Yeah, that's what I expected. So right about here, see this cape or this cloth swaying to the side? What it reveals is seems to be like some kind of temporal AA going on. So you know TAA, everyone complains about TAA. Temporal anti-aliasing. Temporal means like over time, and so it needs to get like different shots over time and smooth it out. But sometimes it can leave a trail. So this cloth actually has a pretty bad trail coming along here, but it is indicative of the game. You know, this scene being what the game is, like a realistic shot. So I don't really know what all this like line, or I guess contour graph is all about. I'm not really sure what that is, but oh, this looks like a planet. It's like we're in space. Are we in space, or maybe it's just a big moon? Don't know. But yeah, it's got a bit of what upscaling going on, or just temporal anti-aliasing going on. I guess temporal AA. What's that? Lag? Not lag, but like ghosting. Yeah, it can be a bit distracting for some people, let alone the shot. But anyway, let's move on. This is super cool. I love like these kind of characters, these big badass characters. Yeah, this like hair stuff looks pretty realistic. You know, not super high detail, high fidelity, but it's what you'd expect. It looks very similar to things in Elden Ring and stuff. Which, you know, Elden Ring's art style. Well, it's not the art style itself. I guess I should look at the Elden Ring trailer again. I never got hyped over the Elden Ring trailer. I was like, what's everyone talking about? Everyone seems to be loving this shit. Like, I don't really like this trailer. Because it had all these, like, what do you call it? These artistic flares of, like, particle effects or hair that looks really, like, 2D and, like, a bit splashy in your face. And it was just a bit much. The game itself is awesome. And, like, the vistas in Elden Ring were insane. But yeah, this is pretty typical hair of what you would see in a normal video game. Yeah, and the textures look pretty normal. Yeah. I wonder if this is probably an intro cutscene. Obviously, you're not really playing the game here. It looks like the main character's animated and walking across the bridge in a bespoke manner. So yeah, this either isn't in the game or it's maybe a cutscene at the beginning of the game.
It began with the Mistfall.
Yeah, see these textures, like this geometry, really basic geometry, and textures, really low resolution textures. This looks like what's going to be in the game. This looks pretty normal.
We lost everything.
Bit of aliasing jitter in the grass there, bit of breakup there in the finer details. So yeah, this looks pretty realistic of what we can expect. Yeah, pretty flat textures on the ground. So overall, it seems to be showing the game. I like these dog things. This is pretty cool. Actually, go back a second. I see some breakup with jitter. I don't know. Ugh.
Stripped of armor.
Stripped of the armor. Yeah. Sorry, boys. Didn't know that shot was coming up next. Anyway. Yeah, these trees, I mean, obviously it's focused on the character and the peripheral vision is giving us a view of the valley or the hills and stuff. But it is pretty, like these trees are pretty blurry. Not sure if it's just out of focus or if you've got some intense upscaling happening. Don't know. These ropes look pretty low geometry, low polygon ropes, which is, you know, it's good. It's indicative of this being real.
Armor. We were exiled into endless night.
Cool lighting. Man, I love these freaky things. That looks really cool.
The temples crumbled.
Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. See, back here, it's interesting. Pull back for me.
The temples crumbled.
These are what god rays, these lighting effects coming down. They actually move. It seems to be there's some kind of plant or bush above there which is waving in the wind or animated, and that seems to be affecting the lighting. So it will be interesting to see if this is an in-game shot or if this is more, CGI kind of stuff. There's a bit of chromatic aberration happening on the candles over there. A little bit more post-processing. But otherwise, pretty sweet shot.
Last.
I think that flag is waving is being animated as well. So it's a very good shot. Not sure if this is going to be in-game. This could be one of those scenes that's not in-game.
Bells told. The nightmare. Never ending.
Oh, okay, so that cool character at the beginning seems to be a character that you got to fight. Okay. I was hoping you could play as that character, but anyway. Yeah, the hair's here pretty normal. These strands that are kind of bunched up. Yeah. Yeah, pretty normal. That animation, like pretty normal animation. Yeah, these animations, you've got, I forget what it's called actually. You got these layered animations, so you got like the strafing of the legs going back and forth, and then the top half of the body is doing the bow and arrow actions. But it's actually cool. I wonder if there's 3 arrows left by the looks of it. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I love when games are actually physically accurate. So there's 3 or maybe 4 arrows this character's holding. 4 arrows, and each arrow that lets go actually flies away. That's cool. Some games will just put 4 arrows to make it look like, you've got 4 shots and code in to do 4 shots, and then it's just like holds the arrows. I don't know. It's just like overly fake when it's like actually not happening. There's a bit of a pixelization break up there as well, and in their hair as well. So yeah, and these animations look pretty typical of a game like this. So everything looks realistic. No user interface though. So games, they'll often get rid of the UI in trailers because UI looks like crap. Games look way better and way more immersive without the UI. So you'll probably see a pattern here of me criticizing games not showing UI, because it's like they know the UI looks shit. So why don't they design the game to have less UI? Especially like first-person shooters, you should have the bullets and the number of bullets left in the magazine like showing up in the gun itself. Halo does a good job of this, but they still have the UI on top, so it's like, well, you have redundant information. Anyway, getting a bit sidetracked there, but yeah, no UI, but otherwise everything looks pretty good. These bow and arrows, they look like they're curving actually. I wonder if that's a actual mechanic. I don't know. Bit invisible. Yep.
But how could we rest in death?
I saw in the trailer the difference in color, like when I was watching it back in real time, difference in color of these things. At first, I didn't know what these were, but they're like little chicken heads or bird heads, little baby bird heads on the top of this one big bird or something. So it's this real crazy abomination looking thing. But look how rich the color is here. Looks very cool, like very rich and vibrant. And then here it's like super dull and washed out. I always hate that, eh? So this looks like a real gameplay shot, which is cool in its own right, but like, why is the color so much better here? Like, this is one thing I'm not super experienced in. Like, so many trailers you see rich, vibrant color, and then when the game comes out, it's all washed out. Like, does the vibrancy and the color really make a difference in performance? I don't know. If anyone knows, can you tell me in the comment section below? Or what does it make it harder to read for the player as they're playing the game? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you have any indication of what's going on with the differences between cutscenes or trailers and actual gameplay, and why the actual gameplay is always so washed out. But super cool monster. I really like this design.
When evil calls so loudly.
Interesting how this shot looks super over sharpened, like all the grains in the tree and like the rocks look super over sharpened, and the armor. And this doesn't look over sharpened at all. Probably looks under sharpened. But this is a really nice landscape. See, there's actually no grass on the hill. They must be culling the grass right about there. So tons of grass. Looks really good here. No grass up on the hill here. But man, that building in the distance on the hill there looks super nice and immersive. I hope you can actually go up there and into that building. I wonder if maybe it is just backdrop to make it feel more immersive, which is totally fine. I think that's good when games do that. But also it's even more cool if you can go visit it. But yeah, looks pretty sweet.
Whatever horrors we face. Whatever.
Yeah, so in some combat things look pretty slow, but you know, that's indicative of it being a realistic trailer.
The price we must pay. We must make our stand.
Cool animation, but it doesn't look motion captured. It looks pretty normal hand animated, but it's still good. I'd say meeting expectations. Interesting, there's actually no clipping here. Doesn't look like there's any clipping of the hand over this. I don't know if it's a wooden plank or a rock pushed up or something, but the fingers are actually laying on it perfectly and going down where they have space to go down. I wonder if this is not in-game. They're probably using the assets in-engine and then reanimating them for specific cutscenes that aren't part of gameplay, just to make it look as good as it can in those moments. Yeah, really interesting on the finger placement there. I would have thought there would be some clipping, but it looks perfect, which... Yeah, you would have to get a super detailed rigid body and bones to have everything landing perfectly on different geometry there, but I don't know. Yeah, it's like cutscene. This looks like cutscene. See, animations look instantly super different. The way these characters are moving, just really slowly, but their animations are like 10 times better than in the actual game. Super nice mood lighting though. Pretty good. Yeah. I was wondering about this. As this character places her staff down, the end of it, when it touches the ground, it has this sound. Now, as a developer, like if there was an animation in the game, I don't think I would put an audio file or audio piece to make the staff make a sound when it touches the ground like that. I think that's a bit of a waste of effort. So I think they've put this audio piece in the trailer in editing. I don't think this shot is part of the game. It could be a cutscene in the game. But I reckon like this audio piece. Let's play it again. Listen to how this character places the staff down and it touches the ground and it makes a very specific sound. Yeah. I feel like that's put in later on in editing of the trailer. Just make it feel more grounded. It's interesting when you make a game, you start putting animations and things in, you realize how much sound grounds everything in the world and makes it feel way more realistic. And so you'll see this in movies too, like people walking or like punching or, you know, doing these or like handling something and things are clicking or pages are turning. All those sounds will be put in editing, just to make the audience know that this action is taking place. But in real life, you barely hear any of those actual sounds. Yeah. Like in real life, you don't really hear much paper turning or like putting your staff stick on the ground or something, especially if it's in dirt. Maybe more so if it's on concrete, but still depends. If it's wood, it doesn't really make much of a sound. And then in the game, you probably wouldn't put in the effort to put in those audio sounds for every little tiny thing like that. So I think it's just a little audio asset put on top of the trailer in editing. That was probably going a bit. Anyway. Yeah, all this looks pretty realistic. Like the textures look. Oh, this is an interesting shot. Interesting facial expression. She is looking at this other character. Yeah, I assume they're just using all the same assets in engine and just doing bespoke animations for cutscenes and things like that.
This withered blade defied corrosion.
He absolutely got walloped. Yeah, interesting textures, super, not very high resolution. So this is like, yeah, real assets.
Will be the light that pierces the endless night.
Yeah, so I was wondering, like, do you come in with, is this multiplayer co-op? That'd be super cool if it is. Not sure if that's what they're saying, maybe. Pretty cool armor. Yeah, see, that animation there. This animation as he's strafing looks super average, which is like, cool, this is actual quarter gameplay. This is what you can expect. Good dodge. Yeah, pretty. This shot definitely does not look like in-game or gameplay animation. This looks like not CGI, but bespokely made little scene just to give you the theme of like, we're fucking thrashing this boss, and coming down, and then it cuts. Yeah, cool. Yeah, coming at the end of July. All right, let's bring up the investigation board, shall we? So, decently exciting trailer. Nothing too crazy, nothing super hype, but looks pretty good. But the reality check, I think it's pretty well good. They have a few scenes which they say down here, not all images. Can you see my mouse? Don't know if you can see my mouse. Yeah, not all images appear in game. So I'm not going to give reality confirmed. They basically didn't show any UI. I know that there are some other gameplay videos that the developers have put up with user interface. So they're basically showing what the game is. But I think I'm going to try to just stick to viewing individual videos, individual trailers, and judging the trailers for themselves, rather than the entire marketing impression that they're trying to give. Just want to. Otherwise, the videos go way too long. It'll have to be an hour, 2 hours. I'll try and keep them under half an hour. I don't know how long this one is, but anyway. I think this passes verification. I think overall, pretty happy with what we're seeing. They basically show a lot of in-game stuff. Everything looks normal animations, normal lighting, normal textures, normal artifacting of temporal anti-aliasing and things like that. A few things that are not in-game, so that's why it doesn't get reality confirmed, but I think this trailer overall gives a good impression of what the game will be. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Yeah, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. If you like what I'm doing, if you want to see other specific games you want me to look at, write down in the comments. But other than that, thanks for watching. Catches.